like? That was Ryan Clark. What? We were like, at first, Jay was like, is that Harry? I'm like, that sounds like Harry Douglas.
Y'all stop, okay?
It did for a second.
Just for a second. Then I caught it.
You have to stop and listen to hear that it wasn't HD. Be a part of Keyshawn.
But can I tell y'all what's funny?
What's up?
I literally said the same thing to myself. I was like, I don't remember recording that. But then I seen the name like Ryan Clark pop up.
First of all, listen.
Did I do any promos?
Listen to Harry. First, he's like, oh, man, stop. It doesn't sound anything like me. I mean, at first, I thought it was me.
HD,
I had to remember.
Real quick, are you in fantasy? Do you play any? Do you have any leagues you in?
Actually, no, not this year. I don't.
Really?
Normally I do, but not this year. Yeah.
I got my draft tomorrow night, and I'm in a league with Richard Sherman. He is talking so much trash to the group.
Let me know if you need some help, Jay.
Okay. I'm recruiting help. Please sit in the draft with me tomorrow night, 5:30.
Like once daily fantasy came out, it was like that rock in the 80s. All of a sudden, it displaced. And when daily fantasy came out, like, oh, look at this! It's a straight hit.
The best part about it, though, Harry, we got some older people on the text chain that have done pretty well for themselves, and Richard does not care. He is talking trash to everybody. He's finding out details about people. It's very enjoyable. It makes people uncomfortable, which I enjoy.
So, Jay, I used to, the last 2 or 3 years, I hosted the fantasy draft for the Falcons and Coca-Cola, right? Ooh. And it's so funny as you get down to certain rounds and stuff, and I'm like, why are you drafting them? Your team is going to be terrible. But so I used to have fun just going around, like, picking at people and guys that they're picking, like, hey, you do know he's on IR now, right?
First of all, who'd you say was in your league?
Richard Sherman.
Do you see what the two of you just did? We're trying to have just a conversation about, like, fantasy, and you guys have to first Jay drops, oh, Richard Sherman's in my league. No, that's a name drop. And then Harry comes out, I host the thing with Coca-Cola and the Atlanta Falcons. Well, can't you just talk about
this? Comes from the man that said, I made Tom Brady's career. I am the reason why Tom Brady has won multiple Super Bowls after I said he was going to fall off the cliff.
I didn't say it. Tom Brady apparently thinks so because I'm all over the man in the arena. And he's tweeting at me. I didn't say anything. Man. All right. Be a part of Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. ESPN Nation's presented by Dr. Pepper. It ain't college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. College football, boy. Florida State. I mean,
LSU.
LSU. That was so live.
Special teams.
John Harbaugh, just the way the whole end of that game went down was nuts. Like, what are the odds? What are the odds? John Harbaugh says Lamar Jackson is, here's a quote, guys, locked in. What? Amid contract talks. Listen to the Ravens head coach.
I don't have any updates on that. Nothing that I'm aware of. It's been football for players and coaches. And that's kind of where we're at. My interactions with Lamar have been all football. And he's been focused and locked in on that 100% from a football standpoint. So that's kind of where we're at. Just really, I don't personally have anything to add that I know of.
So, Harry, here's what I'm confused about. Of course Lamar's locked in. He's always been locked in, right? And if you think, like, if the deadline is Saturday night, because Lamar gave that deadline, what does he need to make this happen? Right? Like, is that 180? Is that 190? Because the thought of him getting 250 guaranteed, I don't see as being feasible. Like, Deshaun Watson is an outlier at 230 guaranteed.
Well, he was treated like a free agent.
Yeah.
So these guys are all under contract. He was treated like a free agent in the sense that there were multiple teams bidding. He went to the highest bidder.
Yeah, so Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson kind of reset the market. So if you're looking at those guys per angle, like, okay, if you're Lamar, 180, 185.
What is it, Harry?
No, he's not taking anything less than $200 million.
Okay.
And rightfully so. Now, do I think he's going to get to $230 million? No, just because that contract that Deshaun Watson got is very unorthodox, and that's not what other owners would want the trend to start being in the National Football League when it comes to quarterbacks, because you do have Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, those guys coming up as well. So $230 million, we don't see that. We haven't seen that. That's the full guaranteed contract in the National Football League. We've never seen that, Jay. So do I think he's going to get that? No. Do I think he deserves that based on the market and what Deshaun Watson got? Yes. But if I'm Lamar Jackson, anywhere between, I would say, $200 million and $215 million, I would have to take. just because the simple fact that you got the owner, Steve Bisciotti, came out when Deshaun Watson got that deal. He wasn't happy with the Haslams. Obviously, he doesn't have the contract right now, so that means they don't want to pay that much money. But is he worth it in my eyes? Yes, and here's why. When you looked at this Baltimore Ravens football team last year, before Lamar Jackson got hurt, they were 8-3 and number 1 in the AFC. You're looking at this year, coming into the 2022-23 season, you're like, okay, we're getting Lamar Jackson back. We remember what this team was when he left. With a depleted roster now, that's what guys hurt. You're getting everybody back healthy. And I actually got the Ravens coming out winning the AFC North. So if you're Baltimore, you're kind of a little nervous right now. But I'll tell you, John Harbaugh sounds a little too damn confident for me that Lamar Jackson's going to be out there. Because what if Lamar Jackson just pulled a juggernaut, y'all, and say, you know what?
That's what he should do, HD.
I don't have no deal by Saturday. I'm not playing tomorrow.
That's what he should do.
But I don't think
that's what I would do.
And that's what's so interesting about this whole situation. Like, I thought, the more I thought about it, because Mike Tannenbaum was on this Just In, fantastic show, 2 p.m. Eastern, ESPN, in case you haven't seen it.
Handsome host.
Handsome host. Yeah, handsome host. So, but and Mike T said on this Just In, like, a month ago, hey, this would be the easiest negotiation ever. If I were Lamar's agent, I would go in and say, look, it's not going to cost you a penny over $230 million. But it's not going to cost, you're not going to get it for a penny under $230 million. The number's $230 now. And at the time I thought, I don't know, Deshaun was treated like more like a free agent than Then the more I thought about it, I said, wait a minute. This dude, 24 civil cases at one point, never won an MVP. Lamar not only won an MVP, is a month younger than Joe Burrow, squeaky clean, everyone loves him. But on top of that, last year until he got hurt, I thought he was the best football player on the planet Earth. He was carrying a team with nobody on it to wins. They had the best record in the division. And then he got hurt. And then he said, well, he's injury prone. No, that was the first extended injury of his career. So then I started thinking 230. I think the number's 250. Now listen to this. The tweet from last week. These two guys are just tweeting at each other. They weren't even verified accounts or anything. So Lamar Jackson's league MVP still hasn't broken the bank. Ravens, you're on the hot seat. Give that man the $250 million guaranteed before you write a check your bleep can't cash. Someone else comments, he want more. They already offered that. Lamar jumped in and said, no, they didn't. Jay, I just feel like in his mind, the number's 250.
I mean, you have to figure that number out quickly, or I just don't know what the advantage of him playing is. I mean, he can get hurt.
I agree, but he's the type, I know football's different. He's the type to pull an Aaron Judge and be like, it was 250. Now it's 260.
All right, so we'll franchise tag you again.
But here's the difference, though, Max.
Quick, Harry, because we got to hit break.
Really quick. Here's the difference. The Cleveland organization, the Browns, are in desperate measures right now. The Baltimore Ravens organization, they're not in desperate measures right now. So that's one reason why the Haslams are willing to give them that much money.
I hear you, until you don't have Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, though.
That's pretty good.
I agree.
So, all right, listen. The Steelers released their Week 1 depth chart. Quarterback battle, isn't that? Trubisky's number 1, right? QB1. But Mason Rudolph's QB2. Pickett's QB3. Does that mean anything? Are the Steelers making the right call? But first, this word from Omega Accounting. Is your small or medium-sized business still recovering from the pandemic?